Where's that music? Not that one. Nope, not that one. Oh, man. No signal. Oh, boy. Huh? Yes! Was that too loud?
Oh, no. Love disco.
Yeah.
Tonight it's in Istanbul, but it's during daytime in Sao Paulo for you. Our audience here just watched the Brazilian film selection you've made for us, and thank you very much for that as well. Before we start our conversation tonight, I would like to start by thanking the Conference Interpreters Association of Turkey, their members, and the nominee members and students they have organized to work with us tonight. They're simultaneously interpreting our conversation tonight into Turkish for our Turkish audiences. So I would like to start by thanking them. And then, well, welcome to Istanbul from all the way from Brazil. You have a very long and very impressive career in animation. Before we move on to talking about the films, would you like to start by saying something to the Turkish audiences here in Istanbul?
Yeah, so sorry about taking some time to get here, but I'm here and now I'm calm. I was very, very worried about it because I was very exciting to talk to you guys. And I'll tell you something. I really love the work that is done in Turkey. And I saw I got to see a lot of films in India when I met you guys there. And I really, really love it. You know, I kind of find a similarity in the ways that how we tell things are very difficult when we have some kind of repression and everything. And it was incredible how animation can cross, you know, all the feelings and messages and everything that can kind of free us a lot. So I'm very happy to be here and excited. I also enjoy so much all the films that you selected for jury. That was really, really great films. And for me, it was wonderful because since the pandemic, the Anima Mundi had closed for 2 years. And I kind of got away from the world of animation. And you guys brought me back. So it's very exciting. And there is hopes for Anima Mundi. You know, there's some hopes. So that sounds good. But I'm very happy to be here. And I got select some films for you to see some from 2 years ago and some other more recent. And I'm excited to talk to you about that.
Thank you so much. We've been keeping you pretty busy with regards to watching the films as you're a member of our jury this year. And also with regards to the films you have selected for us from Brazilian animation cinema. We were talking within the room here with our audiences, and we're all very much impressed with the films that we have seen. They have such a huge range, both with regards to technique and also with regards to the topics that they deal with. I was very, very happy to see so many women's stories brought on screen with such intimacy, but also considering they range from very different sorts of experiences, starting from childhood all the way into adulthood, dealing with different issues of life, death, time, and I would like to recapture just the names of the titles of the films. The Ghost Guitarist by Wesley Rodriguez, Flesh by Camila Cater, and Unraveling the Ocean's Wheel, Guashuma, Gravity, and Guida. They were all each very different experiences for us. Can you take us through the process, how you have selected these films, and how you see them as a combination together, how it reflects on the Brazilian animation cinema?
Well, sometimes looks like it's very hard because, you know, as been working for 27 years as a director of a festival, a co-director, and we did a lot of selections. You know, we select more than 1,000 films, and so kind of your brain sometimes like go crazy. But there's some films that glue to you, you know, and those are films that I like it. I never forget about them, and they're very different, like you said, but. To me, it was interesting to get like 3 women films and 3 men films that has a lot of sensibility, and they are, like you said, very different. So one of them, you know, which is Gravity, it's like more experimental in a way in its language, and it's very simple, and I thought that was. It's I don't know how to explain, but it's a film that I love it. As soon as I first saw it, I love it. And the director, it's a really good director. All his works are very, very interesting. And he's doing this film now in VR. I think he finished. So it's like an experience that I would love to see it. But it's kind of like a poetry for me, you know, and and it's stop motion, very well done. So it's like get everything together. The idea, I won't say a story, but the idea and the techniques well done from him. And like the Ghost Guitarist is like one of the animators that I love in Brazil. He lives in the center of Brazil, in Goiás, and everything he does is like very, very dense. It's a lot of colors, a lot of animation, and he really, really makes film in few days, in like few months, very quickly. So he's like very intense person, but very calm, you know, when you meet him. And his inspiration is very into the culture of the northeast of Brazil that is related to what we call cordel poetries and repente. It's like a music. It's like a way of communication in the northeast, in the areas that are like very dry, and that was it's tradition long time ago, and people continue doing that. So that there's 2 guys playing guitar, and they improvise what they're saying. They just like see somebody and start blah 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 blah, and the other one respond. And it's kind of like surreal. It's very surreal because they start inventing things, you know, and at the same time they can narrate something very important, some message that they want to they want to communicate in many ways. So it's a big tradition. There's like great musicians that does that. It's something that is very valued, you know, in the Brazilian culture. That very people from abroad know that those kinds, because it's not in the center of Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo. It's like from the other part of the country. We have many incredible things like you know, in the countryside. And so this guy, he got like, he loves this kind of thing. He always used that kind of language in his films. So it's hard, like when you try to follow the story, it sometimes doesn't make sense, but it is like, how you say, it's kind of surreal, but like the magic, I forgot now the name of the.
It's kind of more magical realist, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to say. So this one, it's funny because I like films that glued at me, and every time I see it, discover something that I didn't notice before. It's like, so it doesn't tire me, you know. I really just learning something with that. And I saw it today again. I was like, oh, this is just fantastic, because it's like, it doesn't make sense in the beginning, but it is a magic traveling that you're doing into the kind of culture, you know, of like improvising. I talk this, and then suddenly I'm going to that way, and it's they have that in literature and the music and the stories. So, and this is a story I think about. There's like a travel to the world of the imagination. It brings the kids to that, and then they see some things, and he comes back. But it's visually amazing. And Guaxuma. Let's talk about Guaxuma. It's interesting. The director of Guaxuma, she came to Anima Mundi many years ago, and she asked to be a volunteer, and I said yes. And then she took some classes there, and then she also directed a festival for a while, not anymore, in the animation in the northeast of Brazil called Animagem. And then she did films. That was just okay. And this film is just like amazing, which is her story. And the fact that she was hanging out at Anima Mundi at that time, she met a lot of animators and all to her festival too. So her film has different techniques brought from like some of the greatest animators that we have, that I couldn't put it here because there's some good ones around. And I love the poetry, like she visually did for each part of the film, you know, and it's just so beautiful, and the story is so incredible because it's her life, it's a real true story. So it's kind of like animation can be surreal, and also can be like a documentary of your life or of something else, you know. So
techniques that she chose really transported us into her world according to the time period she was telling. That's why I think your emphasis on documentary is very accurate, because I really felt like I was there with her, really observing her experiences as a child and as she grew up. And I think the combination between the technique and the story, her story, was very impressive and very inspiring, I think, for young filmmakers as well.
Yes, and did you notice like the few different like techniques that brings you to a feeling that she was going through, and it's so beautiful. I can't stop. You know, I can see it many times. It's just beautiful. And her parents were like hippies at the time, and they went to live in this fisherman village in the northeast of Brazil. It's always hot, and then she lived there for many years, and she brought that back. So I didn't know that. I found out because of her film. And she did the film she had like some help from the Les Valsers, which is a French studio, which there is also an animation from Turkey. Aya Kartal, Wicked Girl, you know, yeah, she also worked with them. So it's interesting. A beautiful film too. It got an award in Anima Mundi. Yeah. So Guaxuma is incredible. The film from Kiko, the Unraveling the Ocean's Vault. It's so funny in a way, you know. I like the kind of like humor, you know. It's very interesting. How you think your life goes like this, which is true. Life seems like that. So it's also a good. I'm sorry with the words, but kind of like how you. Let's see if I can say that, like how life goes so fast and how he can put that in a funny way in a world that's underwater with these creatures. It's just so imaginative. And so I thought it was a good, and drawing, very good drawings too, animation. So
it was a very interesting gem, very interesting sound for me as well, because I never expected such a thing with that title. But he really made me think about what we're doing with our lives, our relationship to death, and how we spend our time when we are in this world. Whether it's 6 minutes or 60 years or 90 years, it doesn't matter. But it's in such a short period of time, he makes us really think about what we're doing with our life.
Yes, exactly. Very simple, very, and take us to a world that it's not our world, but we feel like confident, maybe because we feel that like in this, almost like inside the uter, you know, living there. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful film. It's a very, very beautiful film. It's kind of like not many people seen that film. It's just like, and his family, it's a live action director, it's really good live action director. He got into the animation, but he has also that knowledge of like the cameras and Vincent, I got now, he's coming. But anyway, it's very beautiful. And carne, what can I talk about carne? Carne is like flesh, in English. It's a film that I was like a jury also in this festival in the Pernambuco in Brazil, and we gave an award, the best award for that film. It was just like it's just incredible film about 4 women, and I'll say here about the body, about how is the ritual to become a woman, you know, what comes with that, and being a Black woman in a country like ours and other countries, and being trans, like the difficulty, and the beautiful one is and then we have like the lesbian woman that without kids and how dealing with the menopause. When you disappear here, let me see. Yeah. So it's like things that we don't talk about. And then I saw a lot of films about women also recently talking about those kind of things. And the most beautiful is like the last one, which a woman gets older, you know, and to me, I was a poetry, that one. It's just incredible because that's how I feel. I feel that nowadays, you know, with life and how we deal with that, with happiness, with the energy, with control of ourselves, with being independent, and how you trace your path. And that's like very, very interesting. That was a powerful. And Gida is amazing. Gida is amazing. It's like this film has been done, like I think it's probably 5 years ago. I don't have the date here. But this director, she is amazing. She worked at Disney I think in studio in Florida for many years, and she came back to Brazil and she started doing this film. She did the animation all by herself, and it's so beautiful, the fluid animation, the story, which I think she told me it's very inspired on her mom, which died 2 years ago, I think. And again, it's this way of power, give power to us, you know. We think about that, like you're getting old, and then you discover life, it's still happening. And then we can do like this connection about life with the underwater film. And then, you know, it's like all about life and how we deconstruct ourselves and build ourselves again in a way that we think will be better for us and will be more in balance with our soul and what we want to do. And so that film is just like the animation, her animation is just incredible. It's so fluid. It's just, I don't think there's any animator like her in Brazil in that sense of technique and sensibility. She's very sensibility, and she's very similar to the woman that she did the film. I can see it. All those films I can see over and over again. Not the same day, but every time I see it, I discover little things there. I have feelings, different feelings coming, and just I would say a film that it's alive. It's alive, and it's going to be alive forever. We know that not many films like that touches, but I think I try to get you in these films that would pull you into this connection.
I think the films complemented one another very, very well. And
that's good.
Actually, the issues that was brought about with Carnage Flash, I think it resonated with everyone, every woman who has seen the film. And I think it also made probably men question what they have thought about womanhood all their life. Yes. And after all that really exquisite exposition, Guida was like a love letter to aging, being a woman, being comfortable in your own skin, and really living the life you choose, and being courageous, actually, taking the courage to do something in your life. It was so joyful. I have to go back and watch it again, actually, when it's finished.
Yeah,
so, thank you so much for introducing these films to us. And as you have said, you've spent 27 years in animation. And we would really like to get to know your adventure in animation more closely. And I know you initially studied visual communications, I think, in Brazil, but then went on to study in America, in the United States, at CalArts, California Institute of the Arts. And how did you make that transition? How did you decide to move into animation?
I think I was a guida, but younger guida, in a way, you know. It's like when I started doing, going for the university for visual communication, was because I didn't want to do fine arts, because that time I was thinking fine arts is like you do one thing and it's there one thing that somebody owns it, or you know, that's gone, you know. And I thought, no, I want to do something that graphic art, because then I can make and put everywhere, and like. And then at that time I started in the university, I met a guy. I was doing Super 8. I was doing a little bit of animation Super 8. I was a dancer, like a jazz dancer, and it's not dancer of clubs or nothing like that. But nothing against, but you know. And I love music. I was the kind of person that was going to concerts and dance like crazy and I really love dancing. And so I thought, God, I like drawing. I like dancing. I like music. Animation, I can do all those things together, you know. And to me, that was like what put it together. And so the closest to it was visual communication. And then just going like, I met this old man that worked for television. He was teaching animation, and I got in there and I said, yes. He was actually the guy the person that put me more in that line. So I said, I'm going to do a film as a final project for the university. And he said, okay, I'll make an animation stand for you, and you can put it in your house, and I'll help you every time you need, and do your film. He was so supportive. And I had to go through the teachers to decide, to tell what was my final project to get the bachelor, the BFA. And everybody, you know, you have to tell about your project. And I said, I want to do an animation film. And they said, animation is not visual communication. And I said, what? No, you have to do design and, you know, design and visual communication. And I said, okay, if I do a film about the letters, the different types of letters that exist in visual communication, you can do it. That's okay. And then one girl that was in the class she was in my class, but I never really talked much with her. She did like that and say, can I join you? And I said, yes. And she was the daughter of Tom Jobim. You know Tom Jobim? She was his daughter. So we both got at the Xerox company. And I said, I want to do a film, and I want to do a cutout, you know, a cutout film. Can you help us give, we can use the Xerox to make the copies? He said, we cannot give you one, but you can come here every time you want and do it. So everything happened, you know. It seems like when you know something that you really wanted to do, that you love, the paths, they kind of open, you know. So I did the film, and the teachers were like, wow. And I said, you said that this is not communication, visual communication. So then I had the film, I showed it someplace. I was doing also some music videos, animation, with Super 8. And And then I saw there was a possibility. I met this guy that now is one of my partners at Anima Mundi, which is Marcos. He was at the National Film Board of Canada because he was a great animator, very young. And he was looking for 10 animators in Brazil to do internship in Brazil with the support of the National Film Board. We will send like 2 teachers from there, 2 animators from there, so we can do some like little film. So when I got there, and at the same time, I was applying for going abroad to have a degree in animation, and I found CalArts. So I sent my stuff to CalArts, and CalArts said, yes, you can come. And I was applying for a Fulbright scholarship, and they recused me. They said no. And then I applied for like a government Brazilian also grants for degrees, and they said no. And I went back to Fulbright. I said, okay, tell me what wasn't good. I'm going to make it better. And I made a better, for the next year, better like portfolio, and I got it. So I went to CalArts. And once I was in CalArts, I was like, I'm home. That's the place I want to live. And that's like inside here. It's like, because CalArts, I don't know if you guys know, but it's incredible. Like it's a school. It was created by Disney, but it became like a school for arts, because you have traditional animation, experimental animation, which was what I chose, and music, jazz, African music, composition, classical, and dance, and fine arts, and everything in one school. Like that time was probably 3,000 students. It's not many people. So you live in there, and you're there all the time, and you bring the musician from the music school to work with you in your film, and the designer, the dancer to do something that you can draw. It's so amazing. I didn't want to leave that place anymore. I want to live there forever in that place. So that's like when I graduated. I came to Brazil to meet my friends that were at in that program with the National Film Board, the Brazilian animators. And there was very bad time, like is now, with a bad government like we have now. And there's not many opportunities, and everybody was really with no money and everything. And that's when great things happen. And then I met them, and they said, yeah, we don't have much work, it's really bad. And say, okay, my teacher said that I could bring films from the school to show here. Let's do a festival. Oh, yeah, we we'll talk to National Film Board. I'll bring films from CalArts. This other one that was my teacher, had connections with animators from Europe. I said, let's do something. And then we went to this cultural center. They started with the cultural center, and we went up. I knocked at the door of the director and said, we want to make an animation festival. What do you think? Great, write the project. So I went to CalArts. I went back to California. I was not more in CalArts, but I was working there, like doing other projects. And we started, the films would come to my house because it was cheaper to get to California, and then California will bring to Brazil, do like importation, temporary importation. And that's how we started, 4 animators creating an animation festival. And until 27 years, 27 years until the pandemic. But so, and what's the most interesting, the most I think that I feel here, like a gratitude, is that the animation grew in Brazil. A lot of people. Okay, it's like olarak. I saw a lot of films there that I wouldn't be able to see anywhere. So festivals do that. You know, you bring films from everywhere, and you learn about the world because it's like a film in Thailand. You learn things about their culture, about what is going on with the youth people, how they feel, or in Africa or in New Zealand, in India, anywhere, you know. So it's like you have your pen in the world, not your feet, but you have some connection with the world. And that's what I miss now, you know, with the pandemic. It's like I miss because it's like any film that you see teach you something, teach us about their culture, what they have, what they can't say. You feel it when an animator cannot say certain things, so but you feel it. So you kind of like travel around the world and get some learning from other cultures.
The festivals play a really major role in the field of animation, I think, globally, because as an ordinary citizen, if you ask someone on the street what they think about animation films, either they think about television or other types of mainstream movies that go into circulation in the movie theaters. But what we experience in the animation film festivals is exactly as you have eloquently put, that all these different sorts of narratives and stories from around the world created by, I think, very patient and dedicated animation artists. And they usually work on very different projects in their mostly professional times, but they are, I think, apples of their eyes are circulating in these festivals, and their experiments and their very own special personal projects, I think. And here in Istanbul, we are holding the 9th edition of this festival. And it takes a lot of work and volunteer work and hardship to do that. And considering how long you've been doing that at Anima Mundi, it is actually amazing what you have accomplished, considering many of the hardships you probably encounter in the country's backdrop, right?
Yeah, but if you get like a good crew, you know, that can do things better than we can do, because we 4 of us are artists and we want to do our things. Like, I don't animate anymore, I don't draw anymore, I don't paint anymore, you know, I want to do that again, but we, with a good crew, it's great. And you never regret, because every year you just have to sit like for 2 months and watch a lot of films for selection. And sometimes it's very hard, you know, it's kind of like you go to dream and your dreams are like a mess of films in your head. But it's always very surprising, very exciting. And during the festival, we are all excited because people come to us, Anima Mundi, I'm become an animator. And so it's not hard, you know, to do all these years, because it's so exciting. People give you so much, and I think more than what you give to them, because it's a good thing, you know. Animation inspire people, can talk to people in many ways. And every time you are getting so many films, choosing so many films, it's like keep your soul, you know, as an artist. everything. But my partners in Anima Mundi, they do animation. They continue doing animation. I can't because I do one thing. I don't know how to do two things at the same time. So I kind of like stop it doing. But if I want to do a film anymore, I don't think so. I would like to paint. I would like to do it. You know, it's like I'm in that woman in that film. You know, with I want to kind of like flow more and discover new things. But animation, it's amazing. Like the last edition, when we are closing the last day of gave the awards, and we're leaving, and some animators came to us and said, you're not gonna stop animation. I come like live 2 hours from here. I came here every year to see it. I love it. I want to do animation, and it kind of like gets here, you know, in your. So it feels good. It feels good. So it's hard, but it's not that hard because you're creating like a community, you know, of artists. They are very open up to hang out with us, to also inspire us, and they are always inspiring, like those films that you see. So it's a hard time. It's hard work, but I don't feel that much of that hard work because it's very fun. In the end, it's very fun.
I would like to ask our audiences, actually, participants to our talk tonight, if they have any questions they would like to pose to you. Participants following us on Zoom or in the movie theater here with us right now. If you have any questions, I would like to direct them to Lea. I was actually wondering, because as you have mentioned, in Istanbul as well, a lot of young artists are attending our festival. Young artists, animation artists, or people even considering whether they should go into animation. What would you like to recommend them as an experienced animation artist? And you have actually been, I think, more than just an animation artist, but also the producer. You've been involved in the visual development of the films as well. So what would you like to recommend to the newcomers?
Do you mean for the animators that want to send a film to the festival, or just like first film, or?
Yeah, the first film, like how they should go on about conceptualizing their work, and then after they have finished, how they should proceed.
Well, I think it's always good to make your first film with some supervising, like in a school or in a course, something, because then you have people that you can exchange, you can learn from, you can bring some people to help you. So animators, they have the tendency to be very alone, you know, lonely, but we need to be more together, because it's very difficult to just make a film by yourself, you know, and you can take like lots of time, and then at the end you're not very happy with it. So, or even it's great, you will look and so it's important to be in like with a group, a community, with friends that you can share, you can do work with each other. That's something I learned in CalArts, is like being able to have a community that you can support. And I think the festival also did a community for the animators. They support each other, and they, you know, help and do some parts of the film of the other come back and do of them. So it's good to have that exchange, so you don't get like in the box, because animators can go really in the box and stay there and stay. That's kind of like dangerous. And like if you want to prepare a film for a festival, would be your first film. I would suggest that it's easier, like if there's no dialogue, because then you have to do translation. If you don't make the translation, people might not understand what your film is about. But nowadays, you have a lot of support in that way with technology too. So, but don't do a big film. Do like a short film and send for many festivals as you can. That's what I did with my films. I send everywhere. So you have a lot of no's, but you have few that yes, and that kind of like supports you in like, yes, I can continue. I'm gonna do it better. Because if you work so many months, so many times, and then nobody wants to see your film, that can cut it out, your feeling for animation, your wish. So just spread as much as possible and then continue doing. But exchange, it's a good idea. And be careful with like the sound, with the sound you're gonna do, and work with friends or kind of like more professionals. Try to be part of a community of animators, because we all help each other, you know, the animator, how you say, group, forgot the names. But that's as important. It's important, you know, what you wanna tell in your story. So do you write or you do your, the words are falling, the storyboard, very rough storyboard, and but don't try. That's it. Do with your heart, and show to some people that you trust. That's not gonna like destroy you. You know, that you trust, and then and that's how it is. And do something story that you really feel it's in your side. You know, it's something that you really believe, in a story that is in yourself. Not, I'm going to do this because that would be good in the festival. No. Do something from the heart. Put your voice there. And that's more important than anything.
And also, as someone who has worked both in your native country, as an animation artist, and also in the United States, which is like the cinematic center of the world in a way, and having spent quite some time in California, how do you compare these two places with regards to the conditions of production and how to exist as an animation artist in the global arena, but also in your national cinema?
I didn't understand the question.
Sorry, I was just asking for you to compare how it is different working in the United States in a more global film industry as compared to working in Brazil as an animation artist.
Oh, it's a big difference. I don't, I'm talking about a time, when I was doing that. Today, everything is changed. Like I have a big support of the CalArts friends, all animators. Part of my group was the creator of SpongeBob. Was like we are was my friend, and the other one that did the Pequeno Príncipe, how do you say in English? The Little Prince, did the Little Prince. He also in the class. So you are with a lot of you are in a school. In my case, I was in a school with very, very good talents and really, really good teachers that they want us to create our thing, not to follow, copy something else. So we became very good friends, and so there was a lot of support among us until today. Like a lot of support, they support me, like during Anima Mundi, like by coming and talking and suggesting other people. Until today, it's like this connection. So it's important to have a connection with a group of animators that support you, and that in California was very good. And even when you go to work in a new place, you know, everywhere you make your new friends, and be close to the ones that support you, and learn, and you can learn from them. You learn from new technologies, learn new things. But Brazil is now, it's different than before. Before was like a few animators, really good from Sao Paulo, which is far away from Rio, and not many animators around the whole country. And I can see that these young animators now, they are a community too. You know, they are talking to the one that live in the Northeast, the one from the South. They connect. They work in their films. You work in their films too. So, and they have this thing like, who is gonna do the sound? Who, I need this? Can help me? So there's this support. This connection with the animators. Like if you try to talk to a person for live action, they will not help you. Here, they won't. In California maybe, but here they will do. It's like, I don't know, animations for kids. No, I cannot help you. But I think California or the US, it's more professional. Everything is much more professional. So it's maybe it's easier to flow, you know, because you know what you really exactly have to do for each thing. And you have more festivals. You have lots of festivals. You can see a lot of films everywhere. But now we have the internet, so you can study about animation, can make connections through the internet, have people from abroad work in your film, and just always building this connection. And I keep on saying connection between animators because I see it, it's very strong and very important. That's what is making the Brazilian animation getting better, is this connection. They all talking to each other. They all like supporting each other. There's like something very nice. I don't know if I answer your question.
Definitely, especially with the selection you have chosen for us, it's really demonstrated the quality of Brazilian animation, the variety, and the inspiration it actually establishes for all of us. I think we will all be looking out for more Brazilian films, animation films in the upcoming future. So, do we have any questions coming from Zoom or?
I want to say one thing. When you look at the film of Guashima, and you see in the credits, there's some people that also have the credits in the Gida, you know, and Guashima is like in Northeast, and Gida is in Sao Paulo. It's really far away, you know. So it's like that's part of the connection, you know what I'm saying? They always like, when you see the credits, they're all working for each other, helping, you know, to put their thing in there. It's really nice. And I want to say too, yeah, and I was very excited with the Turkey films too. You know, I think you guys have like a great community, I'm sure, because the films are so good. I'm sure they support each other. I would like to know more about that, because
well, hopefully in the upcoming years, especially when this pandemic is over, we might be able to host you here as well. Have you come in person and meet the artists themselves here and talk more about animation and films all together face to face, hopefully.
Great.
So I would like to thank you very much for joining us today, for giving this talk to us and letting us accompany you and learn from your experiences, and that we had the chance to see these wonderful films. And hopefully we'll be seeing you again in the festival, either online or in person. And thanks so much for this Brazilian selection again.
Yeah, and if Anima Mundi come back, you guys have to make a program for Anima Mundi.
Definitely.
To exchange, it will be great. There's a good connection here.
Definitely. Thank you so much for giving us this time, and take care. And we'll be looking forward to your the results of the jury tomorrow night at the award ceremony.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Ciao.